I think I am online. Am I? Tell me if you can hear me and see me. Write me in the chat, please. Okay, or something. Can you hear me? Can you see me? People, please write okay. Okay, yes. Okay, great. So while we are waiting for everyone, and as long as it's Spain, people are late. So I'm going to use this time to answer your questions, okay? So let's see what we have here. The first one. Mi pregunta es, ¿cómo se puede aprender tanto vocabulario? Well, it's true that there is a lot of vocabulary there on first, and it seems that you can never learn it. Parece que hay muchas palabras y no se puede aprender todo, but the good news is that you don't have to learn all the words data. The words, the vocabulary in first and in advanced, they always recycle. So there is the list, no hay una lista oficial de Cambridge of the vocabulary and expressions that they ask for during the exam. So what you have to do is you have to, well, if you have a course, so your teacher probably will give you exactly this vocabulary. And what you have to do to learn it, que necesitas hacer para aprender es usar por lo menos 4 veces la misma palabra o expresión. Usarlo en speaking and writing, see it in some reading, and hear it in listening. So that's the cue, when you learn something, try to use it. Intenta usarlo el mismo día en tu speaking, o cuando vas por la calle ves algo y piensas, aquí podría usar esta expresión. Only like this, only using it all the time, your brain is going to move it to the part where it's actually active. So that's the question about vocabulary. Let's go for the next one. Miren. I'm sorry, I don't know how to pronounce it. Me quiero preparar el FIRST en el mes de julio-agosto. Me quedé hace 2 años a 2 puntos. ¿Algún consejo? Durante este mes estaré en Estados Unidos. Well, first of all, be careful with Estados Unidos, because American English is quite different from British English, and Cambridge is British English exam, right? So in this way, you have to be careful, especially with the usage of some grammar, gramática como present perfect, which American people never use, or some expressions, or not using S of third person, so be careful with that. And also my question is, during these 2 years, miren, durante estos 2 años, ¿estabas estudiando inglés o no? Because it makes a lot of difference, Esto hace mucha diferencia. Si has estudiado o estabas, write me in the chat, please. Y quedaste a 2 puntos. What was the part that you failed? What was the part where you didn't have enough points? I failed use of English. Surprise, surprise. Use of English, the favorite one, or the favorite part of everybody. Yeah? And during these 2 years, have you been studying or you just forgot? As a nightmare. I've been of those 2 years, only one. So you've been studying only one. Well, my advice is to take maybe some intensive course to refresh all the knowledge, of everything that you might have forgotten. And also, I think that July and August, if you're going to be in the United States, probably you need like July, August, and then also 2 months more, like 4 months, I think is like the optimum amount of months for intensive course and present for the exam in October or November, so that would be the answer for you. And also pay attention, because use of English, basically, it's not the grammar, no, it's how you can use the grammar. So what you have to do is not only practice the exercises, because it's useless at the end of the day. You have to know how to deal with each exercise, know what are the typical grammar for Cambridge exam, because grammar is always the same, ¿no? Siempre usan las mismas preguntas con las mismas cosas y tú solamente tienes que refrescar pues estos aspectos más importantes de first, ¿no? Y luego pensar estrategias, cómo hacer cada ejercicio, porque si lo haces en plan mirando el ejercicio pensando, a ver qué palabra pongo aquí, esto no va, ¿no? Para cada parte hay una estrategia y si la sigues, pues use of English is not going to be your problem. I think that after 2 years of gap, no, your main problem will be reading, because it's like to read such long texts now when it's been 2 years and you did not practice it. That's also, so you have to practice also the strategies for reading as well. That's my advice. But yeah, I think that 2 months is not enough, and it's always better to take more time and not waste your money, to pay for exam and then fail it. So well, that's my advice. Up to you. Next question. Raquel. Raquel. En el speaking, ¿no? ¿Es mejor hablar mucho, con soltura, aunque se cometa algunos fallos, o sin fallos y ir más lenta? Vale, sobre el speaking. Tienes que saber que en las últimas reglas de Cambridge que hemos recibido, porque Cambridge always does like the webinar for teachers who prepare for the exams, and they said that the new rule, the new evaluation criteria for the speaking is that it's always better if you speak about less points, you speak about using, for example, in the speaking with the spider-gram, it's better to talk about less, but go deep in the option. So my advice to speak slowly, but without making mistakes. I wouldn't say, well, when you're saying mistakes, cuando dices errores, ¿a qué te refieres? A gramática, ¿no? Pues tienes que saber que aparte de gramática y vocabulario, hay 5 puntos de evaluaciones. Y tienen, cada punto tiene 5 puntos, te da 5 puntos. Entonces, si tú cometes un error en gramática, pero otras partes haces muy bien, better for you. No, I'm going to speak in this masterclass. I'm going to explain you about the evaluation points and how to do, gain the most amounts of points there, okay? Because you have there also interactive communication, discourse management, tienes que añadir muchos conectores, linkers, eso te da más puntos eso da más puntos que pues, estructuras gramaticales, ¿vale? I hope I answered your question, but I'm going to talk about it in the masterclass, so you're going to see. Is it important to know expressions? It is important to know expressions. Well, you have to know in which task, in which part you use expressions, because if it's speaking part, en la parte 2 or en la parte 3, especially if the topic is a little bit informal, so you can use informal expressions, like phrasal verbs, like idioms, and so on. Yeah, it's good to use them there. But, for example, if it's formal writing, they're not that much, right? Because there you have to use more formal structures, and all the expressions like rain, cats, and dogs should not be there. Okay, so it's good to know expressions and use them in your speaking, but I would focus more than like informal expressions on some structures that are normally used in English that you can use in use of English, in reading, in writing, and hear them in listening. Okay, so that's my answer about expressions. More questions, or shall we start? I think more questions. Write me something in the chat. Can I start, or there are some more doubts? Yeah, also I got 2 questions from my email. Yeah, from my email about speaking. Frases base para recordar y que queden bien con todo lo demás. It was the question from Margarita. And well, frases base y que queden bien con todo lo demás. I would say that these frase base son linkers, okay? The linkers of expression of your opinion, of asking the partner, of introducing the topic, of moving from one point to another. Those are frases base that you can use and that they are going to give you more points and they are going to make you more fluent, and they're gonna let you speak fluently because you don't have to think how to express my opinion. No, you use something that you have already had in your mind and just continue your speaking. Another question: if I make mistake in speaking but I correct it in the moment, is it acceptable? Is it acceptable? Sure. I mean, of course, it's not going to count as a mistake. It's just a mispronunciation or whatever. Yeah, so no, it's not going to count as a mistake. The problem here is that you don't have to get nervous, and think, oh my God, I said people is, and lose everything that you wanted to say. That's my advice. Be calm, okay? Keep calm and just, carry on. Continue your speaking, and mistakes are normal, and I think that a lot of people, even native, you always make mistakes, so whatever. If you made a mistake, you noticed it, you corrected it, and another thing is that if you don't understand one word, somewhere, also it's very normal to ask what is the meaning of this word. For example, in speaking, the question is how you ask it. Yeah, and I explained it in my video. I don't know if you saw it. You have to say, excuse me, in this context, this word means, what exactly do you mean by this word? Yeah, in this context. So you don't show that you don't know the word. You're going to say, in this context. So honestly, you know what is the word, but well, in this situation, it's not clear for you, and the examiner will explain you, so you will get the idea what is the meaning. Because if you say, I'm sorry, I don't know what this means, it's not a very good impression of you. So, use this life hack. Say, excuse me, in this context, what do you mean by, and then your word. Okay? So, if there are no more questions, I guess we can start. And today we're going to talk about all the parts of Cambridge exams, about first and about advanced. And we're going to talk about some important points here. What are those points? We're going to try to make your preparation more organized, easier, and more efficient. Because I think that there is no point to waste 2 years of your life. No, it's like malgastar 2 años de tu vida preparándose al first. It's impossible. I don't know why people do it. I mean, if you organize it in the good way and you use the proper strategies, there is no need to spend so much time to prepare advanced or first. Okay, so that's my goal for today, to help you to organize your preparation and make it easier and more fun. Okay, so what are we going to talk about? First of all, how to know if you have the level to already take the exam, the typical mistakes in each part of exam, and then I'm going to give you the formula of the preparation or formula of success, how it looks, what are the parts of your success in advance. And I'm also going to talk a little bit about how I do it in my course, and also for this masterclass will be useful for people who are already preparing for first or advanced, ¿no? Los que ya están estudiando y preparándose o llevan 2 años o muchos años con first or advanced, o los que todavía no tienen nivel ni de B2 ni de C1, pero quieren tenerlo y saben que necesitan this certificate. Yeah, and also I think that it will be useful for people who just cannot survive with the timetable and with the methodology of Academias de Barrio. Because we know that if we work or we study at the university, it's very difficult to force yourself to go to the class and just sit there with the book and study. And I don't understand why still we don't use the new technology in our language studies, no, and we just have to go and study with the book. So anyway, that's just my concern. So why are we talking about Cambridge exams? Write me please in the chat, people who are here, why did you decide to take Cambridge exam? Because there are a lot now. No, we have IELTS, we have TOEFL, we have APTIS, we have Trinity, and a lot of variations. So please write me in the chat why Cambridge. Yeah, who asked you for Cambridge, or it was your decision to take the Cambridge, or what happened in your life that you are here and you are preparing yourself for it. So while I'm waiting, I guess that the answer is that they are very wanted in Spain. Yeah, I don't know in your situation, I'm going to see it now in the chat, but in a lot of cases in Spain for oposiciones, no, the civil servant exam, or for other job position, they ask exactly for Cambridge exam. Probably because it's the most difficult one, and well, it's the most popular one, of the British exams. Also, it is very useful for international master, so if you want to take international master course or go to Erasmus, for example, in Erasmus Mundus in the program, so you're gonna need a Cambridge certificate, advanced first. And also, the only advantage I think that worth it is that they are never expired, okay? No se caducan, so if once you suffer and you got your first or advanced certificate, so it's forever yours and you forever have this level, and maybe you already forgot everything, yeah, all the phrasal verbs, but still the certificate is yours. Okay, Miren, I see that the university recommended it to you. Yeah, I also have a student, Anna, that she's studying nursing also. She got her advanced this May. And yeah, I know that for the medical area, also very important to have the certificate. Okay, so anyway, at the end of this class, also, I'm going to explain you how to get the free Intensivo de Verano with me, because I know that a lot of people start their course in September, and during the summer, they forget everything, and then they come and like fresh new brain, no se acuerdan de nada, and I'm tired of it. So this year I decided to make Intensivo de Verano online, so it's just, a little bit refreshing. Now I see that, well, people are coming, so I'm going to present myself, because I've been talking here for a while. And my name is Elena, and I have the certification of Trinity College in London in TOEFL, that is teaching English as a foreign language. I also am certificated by Chartered College of Teachers in London, also in Advanced TESOL, that is teaching English to speakers of other languages, which are Spanish people, speakers of other languages. And in last 5 years, I've been working in the academies in Madrid, in English Connection and Netherlands. And mostly I am preparing people for first advanced, PAD. Yes, so I can say that I am specializing on this. And well, I noticed that, don't worry, we're gonna have the record and I'm gonna send it to you, Miran, so, check your email after, okay, if you have to go. So what I noticed in during my work with Spanish students is that a lot of them really suffer with Cambridge exams. No, they suffer with first and with advanced, mostly because they know a lot of grammar, they have a lot of theoretical knowledge, but they don't know how to use it in terms of exam, because exam has its own rules, right? It's a very different story. So that was the point. And I remember that I had one student, Andrea, and she has been living abroad and she had like nice English, and she came and she was almost crying, saying that I understand everything in the listening, but still all my answers are incorrect. Or I understand the reading, like the general idea, but still I have mistakes in the answers. And I realized that, well, something goes wrong, que algo falla, no? Y falta algo. And I understood that it's the system, yeah, the systematic approach, because for each English, part of Cambridge exam, you have to have the strategy, ¿no? Tienes que tener una secuencia de pasos y así te va a salir bien, porque no tienes que entender todo lo que dicen en listening, no tienes que entender cada palabra en reading, and that's all, you just have to prepare with the strategy, see the typical vocabulary and typical grammar for first or for advanced, and like this, everything is going to be okay. So for those of you who don't follow me on Instagram, follow. I put there a lot of useful things. And now I want you to answer the questions, as long as we are here. No, in percentage, how ready do you think you are for Cambridge exam? In which point of your preparation are you? 50, 70, 100%? You are completely ready? Or what? What is the number? 50, 70, maybe 30, maybe 0 if you have just started. 60. I'm bad at grammar. Okay, well, happens. Yeah, the second question is, which part of the exam is the most difficult for you? Marta, 70, that's a good number. Which part of the exam is the most difficult for you? Is it reading, listening, use of English, speaking, or what? Speaking. Well, yeah, for some people it is very difficult. More? Writing. Problems with formal writing, right? So I want you to think now, why? Why on earth this part makes you suffer? What is the problem there? What is that you don't understand? Or what is that you know that is some blank point? What? Why? Why this part is the most difficult for you? The correct grammar tenses, how to use them. Only in writing or in use of English also? Listening, 50%, and listening is the worst part. Yeah, what is wrong, Rocio? You can't understand, or you understand, but the answer is wrong anyway. That's an interesting one. Yeah, I see. I can't find the words when I'm speaking and make lots of mistakes that I know that are wrong. Yeah, well, Marta, I have good news for you because today I'm going to tell you how to find the words because there is a strategy to do it. So wait for the speaking part. I think I can help you with that. So I hope that after this masterclass, with the strategies that I'm going to give you, you're going to know more than 90% of people who are going to exam thinking, I speak English, I'm going to rock it. But no, yes, so I hope this is going to be useful for you because from my experience, I know that there are two types of students. The first group is the biggest one in Spain, is the group that use of English part two. Mm-hmm. Okay, yeah, I know what you're talking about, Lucia. So the first group is the Spanish. I say Spanish group because these people know a lot. They know a lot of grammar. They know a lot of tenses and everything, but they have problem with using all of it. They have problem with using different structures in their speaking. They only use present simple and that's all. This is the first group. Tell me who here is from this group, who knows a lot of grammar and not a lot of theory, but when it comes to practice, it's problematic. And the second group, I think it's smaller here in Spain, not me. The second group probably is for you, if you're not from the first one, is for people who speak very good. Maybe they have been living abroad. They have a lot of fluency, they know a lot of expressions, but they have problem with tasks of Cambridge exam, like use of English, like formal writing, these small details. That's me, yeah, that's what I'm talking about. So you are either in this group or in another one, and neither of these groups can pass exam because you have to have it in harmony, in complex, both theoretical knowledge and knowing how to use it, and which is the most important, how to show it, yeah, on the exam. So the problem is that we pay a lot of attention while we are preparing to the exam to what? What do you pay the most attention when you are preparing? For vocabulary, for grammar, for what? Write me in the chat. Maybe it's listening, maybe you watch a lot of series in English. What is your attention? Where is it? Lucky guess, I think it's grammar. But let's see, what are you going to write? Use of English. Marta, you pay a lot of attention to use of English. Yeah, so basically grammar, no? Mm-hmm. So the news is that grammar and vocabulary that we always think it is English. I try to do a lot of grammar, yeah? Vocabulary, yeah. So we think that, okay, if we know grammar and we know a lot of words, this is English. But no, it's not. And basically, Cambridge exam says you that no, because what are the parts of Cambridge exams? Listening, speaking, writing, reading, and use of English. Not grammar, not put the correct tense, use of English. So what you have to pay attention in your preparation are the skills. So actually, I think that the part of grammar or vocabulary should not be in your preparation at all. It's supposed to be as the auxiliary for you doing your speaking, listening, reading, and writing. So you study a vocabulary from listening and from speaking. So you hear the word, you learn it, and then you use it in your speaking. Basically, if you practice a lot of listenings of Cambridge and you see the script and you study the vocabulary from there and then you use it in your speaking, you're good. Because Cambridge is always recycling the vocabulary. The vocabulary is always the same in all the speakings, in all the readings, in all the listenings. Okay, so, but there is one important part of Cambridge exam, and I want to show you on the example. Okay, so here you have the picture, well, 3 pictures of different dancers. Yeah, and my question is, who is gonna win the competition? What do you think? Number 1, number 2, or number 3? Write me in the chat the number. Which one is gonna be the winner? Yeah, ¿quién va a ganar el concurso? Which one do you like the most? Let's see your tastes in dancing. Yeah, only the number 1, 2, or 3. 1. So you like the hip hop, huh? 3. The ballet girl, Lucia. Okay, now my question is more specific. What if I tell you that this contest all could win? Good point. So this contest is the contest of modern dancing. Which one would win? If it's only the modern dancing that is evaluating. And the winner is number 1. Exactly, obviously. Yeah, so the same deal with the Cambridge exam. Hip hop includes the use of every style. Okay, you have very good knowledge of hip hop. So basically the same goes for Cambridge exam. You can speak perfect English, but if you don't know what are the rules of the game, you're never gonna win. So you know that British people are very strict and very, let's not talk badly about them, but they follow the rules. So you have to follow the rules of exam to pass it. Do you know the story about Australian girl who is native and she failed advanced? Why? She failed, I think, writing part. Not so. Why? Because you have to know what do they want from you and give them what they want. And that's why I think that in the middle of your preparation should be the strategy for each part which reflects the criteria of Cambridge, no? So you have to give them what they ask. Imagine, Cambridge has the very strict rules for writing, ¿no? Tiene reglas muy estrictas para cada parte, the writing, the speaking, reading, and so on. Entonces, tú puedes hablar perfectamente en tu speaking, pero si tú no dices lo que ellos quieren escuchar, no vas a aprobar. Yeah, so we have to know what they evaluate. And this is what we're going to see now. Let's talk now about some typical mistakes that people commit in their preparation and also on the exam. First of all, in use of English. Who said that his favorite part was use of English? This is for you. Yeah, so in use of English, what are the most typical mistakes? The first one is that you think that you have to know and you have to study all the grammar for the use of English. No? And here comes the problem that you think, oh my God, it's impossible to learn all the grammar and to know in which situation, which phrasal verb to use. It's impossible. So I want to tell you that the topics of first or of advanced, they're different, but they're always the same, no? And we have the list of these topics. So you have to refresh these things, and they are not verbal tenses. Okay, no son tiempos verbales. No, they are completely clear things. What are the favorites of Cambridge? Let's see. Favoritos de Cambridge. Models, perfect models, models of speculation. You can be sure that in each use of English task, you're going to find a model verb. Si es parte 2 de use of English, y ahí tienes que poner en algún gap de model. O si es parte 4, doesn't matter, you're going to find the one where to put the word. Then, next one, the more, is also one of the most favorite, one of the most popular Cambridge tasks. Inversion, this is for advanced. Used to versus would. Yeah, an infinitive versus gerund, for example, and a lot of other things. So do you agree with me? Do you see that these are always the parts that repeat and that you always see there? Gerunds, infinitive, used to, phrasal verbs, modals, and so on. So what is the key? For each part, first of all, you have to know all these aspects, no? And with the normal course of preparation, you have to prepare all these grammar aspects. And secondly, you have to have the strategy, I call it guia burros, for each part of exam that you follow, that is clear. And like this, you're never going to be lost and you're never going to think, oh my God, I don't know what to put there. Yeah, for example, here we have use of English part 4. Yeah, and I have in bold used. No, I see used. And in my brain, there is like pam, 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 used to, yeah. And I see that the sentence said, I still find it strange to wear glasses, ¿no? Todavía es raro para mí llevar gafas. ¿Qué es esto? Que todavía no me he acostumbrado, ¿no? So, what is the expression of this in English? Get used to, ¿no? So, my step 1 is to cross the things that are repeated. Secondly, I think what is the synonym of find it strange, no? To get used to. Step 3, I think what is the tense, no? So I put the correct tense. Step 4, I also have to change and add ing, no? So here is my answer. I haven't got used to wearing glasses. So if you follow the strategy for each part of exam, for part 2, it's also, there is a strategy, no? How you see which part of the speech, where to look for the clues, you know. Cambridge is not that evil. They give you the clues, and actually the tasks, if you follow the strategy, are very easy. Okay? Another mistake for use of English is to study grammar with the reference to Spanish. And that's a huge mistake. For example, thinking that present perfect in English is the same as present perfect in Spanish. It's not. Or modals, no. So what you have to learn is in which aspect, in which situation you use. And if you learn it like this, you're never going to have problems with use of English tasks. Okay, so for example, if I say, how would you translate into Spanish, tener que? Tengo que irme. How would you translate it? Write me in the chat. What is it in Spanish? Tener que. Have to. Have to go. Yeah? So no. In this case, tener que is not always have to. It can be must. No? So you have to think in which situation you use which. So, for example, me in my course, I never explain it like tener que is have to and deber is must. No, you just have to know in which situation you use have to and in which must. For example, here, I explained an example of Jon Snow. Yeah, that must is more internal motivation, have to external. No, so in case that it's your desire to go, you'd say I must go. Yeah, I must leave now. So Spanish here gives us problems. Yeah, and the Spanish explanation also. So I suggest you just study each grammar aspect with the reference to English, no? In which situation you would use it. And then when you have the use of English task, you remember, okay, this situation is this, so I have to use this modal or this phrasal verb or whatever. Okay, let's go for reading. So what are the typical mistakes in the part of reading? This is the sentence that I hear a lot. Hay que leer mucho. To pass reading part, you have to read a lot. Have you heard it? If yes, write me in the chat. Yes, you suffered from it. I mean, why? What do you have to read a lot to pass the reading part? Harry Potter in English is gonna help you to pass reading exam? No. So what is the answer for it? You have to know how to read. Because let's say if I'm reading Harry Potter, I don't have a time limit. No, I can read like whatever as long as I want. But here you are on exam. You have some questions. Readings are different, and also you have limited time. So, for example, I have this type of reading, which is multiple choice, which is huge. It's enormous. How can you read it, you know, like, and just answer all the questions? Or this is another type of reading where you have gaps. So are you going to read them in the same way? No, it's impossible that you find the answer like this. It's impossible that you have it in the right timing. So what do? You have to follow. You don't have to read all the texts in the same way. Yeah, the read and then find the answer. No, you have to follow the strategy for each type of reading. Yeah, thank God we have one. Yeah, for each type of reading, I give the strategy how to deal with it. For example, if it's multiple choice, don't ever read it all the text and then go question by question. No, it's the waste of time. All the ideas are gonna mess up and mix in your head. What you have to do is you have to read first only one question, not all the questions. Only the first question and only the first paragraph. No, and you look for the answer there. I used to read first the question and look for it in the first part. Exactly. Yes, very good. So you look only for this question only in the first paragraph. If you haven't found the answer, you move on to the next one. Yeah. So normally in the multiple choice, questions are in order. So you go like this. For all other readings, we also have the strategy. For example, the gaps, where you have to put sentences or paragraphs in advance. There is also strategy. It's not very difficult, and you don't have to suffer with it. Yeah, there is a clue how to do it. You look for pronouns, no tienes que buscar pronombres or linkers, y ahí conectar. Well, there is a life hack for this reading also. Let's go for listening. What are the typical mistakes here in the listening part? First mistake is to try to understand each word and get very upset and very nervous because you think, I don't understand exactly what he's saying. No, so you have to know and you have to train yourself to listen for the synonyms, but listen for the synonyms is very general sentence, no, very general advice. What are exactly the synonyms? My advice for you is look in the question, look for either phrasal verbs or French origin words, long words. No, for example, continue is the French origin verb, and then we have carry on, no, or have a rest, put your feet up. He was very busy, had a lot on his plate. No, so normally those are the synonyms that you have to hear and you have to find in the question and in the answer. And important thing is if you hear the same word, the same expression that you have in the answer, no, is the wrong one. They are trying to trick you. Yeah, so you have to train yourself, and we do it with the practice, following the strategy, how to hear these words without understanding what they're talking about. In most of the cases, when it's dialogue, for one person, you don't even have to listen because he's not going to have the answer, you know? So I always say that look in the question, who is the speaker? Yeah, and pay attention to him. Anyway, there is a strategy, you have to follow it. Then in listening, also mistake is to understand in general what they are talking about, not listen for the first time to understand in general, and then think what is the answer, because everything could be true. Yeah, so here it's a mistake because you don't have to, if you understand in general, the answers that you have are your insinuations, not is what you imagine to yourself is the correct answer. No, you have to find exact sentence that says exactly the answer, and only like this you know that it's correct, and follow the strategy. Yeah, for example, this listening, which has different speakers, yeah, has its own strategy. Hay que escuchar de una manera. Listening con gaps, hay que escuchar de otra manera. Y no hay que mezclar esto. Por ejemplo, en este listening, por la primera vez, no tienes que leer ni las opciones, porque esto te va a leer. Don't read the options during the first listening. You read the options in between two listenings. No, because if you read them in the beginning, they are always the same in this particular listening, and it's going to mess with your head. Okay, for example, this one with gaps. It's another strategy how to listen for it. No, you have to know which part of the speech you're looking for. For example, I'm looking only for nouns because here I can see the article. So follow the strategy for each type of listening. And let's go for speaking. Said somebody about speaking something, and I don't remember what. Promised somebody not to find something, don't remember what. So anyway, the first mistake in speaking is to speak very fast, thinking that like this you show that you are fluent. No, hablar muy rápido, como que yo soy muy fluido. Yep, no, mi inglés es muy fluido. You have to pay the attention to the stress and the typical Spanish mistakes. So it's better if you speak more slow, but you don't commit these typical mistakes, of pronunciation especially. Because grammar and vocabulary we are controlling somehow, but pronunciation, no. And I'm not talking about your accent, because accent, if it is understandable, it's okay. Yeah, for example, I was once on the conference and there was the Indian guy, I always tell this to my students, and the Indian guy went to the stage and he said, I am dirty and my wife is dirty too. And everybody was like, what? Why are you saying it to us? Okay, we are happy for you that your wife is dirty, but why? And actually he was trying to say that he's 30 and his wife is 32. Yeah, so in this case, his accent really didn't let us to understand what he was saying. But in the case of Spanish, you have to pay more attention to typical Spanish mistakes. For example, hotel instead of hotel, hospital instead of hospital, estar instead of star, yeah, bus, and so on. So these mistakes will take the points away from you, because it's not your accent, it's the pronunciation mistake. Okay, so here you have to pay the attention. Also, another mistake in speaking, to pay attention only to vocabulary and grammar. And this, in a lot of cases, is the problem, because we don't know, or we don't want to know, that Cambridge has 4 evaluation criteria. Okay. Entonces, no hay que prestar atención solamente a vocabulario y gramática. No, hay 4 puntos de evaluación. And here we see them. Yeah, so only the first one is grammar and vocabulary. And then there are two that nobody pays attention to, is discourse management and interactive communication. No, discourse management is very important. What they evaluate here, the structure of your speaking, if it's connected, if it's coherent. Now, because in a lot of cases, people don't even answer the question because they are so nervous that they forget to answer the question. I had a girl, a student who on her exam, all the speaking was talking about chorizo. And I was like, why? The question was about sharing the flat. So I think that chorizo was the problem because somebody stole it or whatever. But at the end of the day, she didn't answer the question. So that's a mistake in discourse management. Okay, another point here are linkers that you use, how you connect your speech. Yeah, and another one is interactive communication, is how you interact with the partner. This all gives you points, not only grammar. Yeah. What else? Another mistake here is not to use proper linkers. For example, always, almost all the students say, I think all the time to express their opinion. Write me now in the chat what synonyms of I think you know and you can use in your speaking. Maybe I think it comes from Spanish, because in Spanish we say a lot of creo, there are no much alternative. Yeah, but well, in English it's a mistake, and it's a mistake for discourse management because you have to show the variety. In my opinion, in my case, something more sophisticated, because in my opinion, what else? From my point of view, better. Yeah, actually we have a lot. Yeah, we have very good ones. For example, as I see it, yeah, from my point of view, Marta, what you said, as far as I'm concerned, from where I stand, in my view, yeah, so like this, you don't use all the time the same, I think that you don't control, I think in a lot of cases, you don't control it. So choose one or two that you're gonna love and use them always, no, instead of I think, make it automatic, and like this, you're gonna get more points in discourse management. When it comes to interactive communication, the mistake here is not to listen to your partner. Huge mistake, because according to the last rules of Cambridge, las últimas noticias de Cambridge, que este punto no te va a dar más points. Why? Because at the end of the day, speaking is interaction. No, you have to interact with the partner. So normally when we have this speaking with the partner, when he is talking, you are thinking, oh my God, what am I gonna say? What is next? And you don't even pay attention to what is he saying, right? So what is the clue here? And this is very important to prepare before the exam, the options of feedback. So like this, he's talking, you don't have to listen to him very, specifically, like looking for what is he saying. You can think and structure your speaking, but you already have the feedback prepared. For example, in a lot of cases, the answer is, yeah, I agree. Or, yeah, I see your point. Or, what do you think? Yeah, so write me now in the chat also. What are the synonyms? How can you use the feedback? What can you say? Apart from what do you think or I agree, what are the synonyms? How can you enrich your speaking and make it more sophisticated and get more points? It is important. I see your point. Yeah, another one that is like very typical, and also you say, I see your point, but, and then you continue with yours. And like these expressions that are very from the book, very bookish. So it's not going to give you extra points for fluency or for interactive communication. Yeah, you have to enrich it a little bit with more options. For example, in case of what do you think? Yeah, how to ask the partner. Let's see, we have, are you with me on that? Do you see what I mean? Do you share my view? Yeah, with I agree. I see your point, and yes, I could not agree more. I agree up to the point. Yeah. What is your opinion about it? Also, yes, good. So these expressions, especially, you have to be careful when you disagree. Yeah, don't start arguing there. Just say that okay, I could not agree with you. Unfortunately, I think that the most important and move on. Yeah, don't start with the discussion. What is the other mistake for speaking? My favorite, quedarse en blanco, me quedado en blanco. Yeah, I didn't know, I could not, the words were not coming to me. And it is very dangerous because actually you have only 6 minutes in total that you are talking on the exam. So you have to have, and the answer for this, I think somebody had this question. The answer for this is to have the strategy step by step for each part of speaking. For example, I sent you this one and we have this for each part of the exam. I always give it to my students. I created it as the mind map. Yeah. You start from the question. Here you have phrases, how you rephrase the question. Then you move to the step 1. You also have expressions to use. So what you have in your head is the structure, ¿no? En tu cabeza ya lo tienes structured, whatever. So you have it structured, and on the day of exam, you only have to put inside ideas about the topic, but all the expressions, all the steps, how to move from one point to another, you already have it. And on during the preparation, for example, me with my students in speaking, I always practice the structure, so it's automatic. They already have how they start, how they continue, how they ask for the opinion of the partner, and they only have to add there the ideas about the topic that they are talking about. So it really helps you because you are so nervous on exam. The words are not coming to you. So at least have the step-by-step plan for each part of speaking, especially the one with the pictures, especially for advanced. You have to just follow the steps, practice it, and that's all. I think, tell me if I answered the question about words not coming to me. I think it was from Marta. I'm not sure. Also, I always give the life hacks for my students. What happens if you don't understand the word? How to interrupt the partner? Yeah, all these things you have to prepare before the exam. So on the exam, you don't worry about it. Yeah, you always you have the expressions that you can use. Some life hacks. My favorite one is if you have the options. Tienes una opción y no quieres hablar de ella. Cómo deshacerse de ella is the favorite one. It's just, to use it in the practice. Let's talk about writing. Yeah, the last part that we have here. Another typical mistake, writing is grammar. Yeah, and I think that Mariska, that's what you said. That one. I have problems with writing because I don't know how to put the grammar. So you have to know that grammar is not the only part of writing that you have to pay attention to. For example, in writing, we also have 4 evaluation criteria. It's content, it's communicative achievement, it's language, yeah, and organization, the paragraphs, and so on. So also for each writing, we have a strategy. Yeah, for example, this is the part of my course. So for each evaluation criteria, I give the questions and the advice how to get the most of the points. Yeah, for example, in communicative achievement, elegir el estilo de writing. No pongas más de 3 ideas because it's forbidden in Cambridge. Usa expresiones sofisticadas como it's probably true to say that. Yeah, also I give the list of grammar that you can use. For example, passive voice, models of speculation is the favorite ones of Cambridge. Yeah, they're going to give you more points. And like this for each part. Another mistake in the writing is to think that each type of writing is the same. Yeah, so you don't have a structure for the writing. No. Cambridge has a very strict rules here, well, as everywhere. Cambridge is very strict. Yeah, so you have to follow the rules and you have to know the structure, okay, of each writing type. For example, essay, yeah, which is compulsory for first and for advanced. Here is like example of the structure that I give. In each paragraph, yeah, where should go the linker, what to put in introduction. For example, your opinion should not go in essay until paragraph 4, and it's important. Don't ask me why. Those are the rules, yeah, and we have to play the game by the rules of Cambridge. So basically, to sum up, yeah, the epic fail of your organization of preparation, talking about the mistakes, is that you don't have the complex approach to it. You don't have a plan for each part, and it's like I'm going to study a lot of grammar, a lot of vocabulary, and then I'm going to see where it's going to appear. No, you have to have the systematic preparation. So here I have the list of grammar aspects. Here I have the list of vocabulary. I have the strategy for each part of exam and I practice it. Yeah, and I know that in a lot of cases this is the mistake because, for example, the case of my student Anna, she needed her first certificate here for Erasmus of law. She was studying law. Yeah, and the problem in her case was that she was using in her speaking and in her writing a lot of formal vocabulary, and she thought that it's the best. Or somebody told her that phrasal verbs are, phrasal verbs are going to give you points. No, in formal writings, you don't put phrasal verbs. If your speaking is about, I don't know, political situation in Spain, you don't use phrasal verbs because it's the formal speaking. Yeah, so you have to be careful with that. And in her case, it was huge mistake. But at the end of the day, in 2 years, she got her first and her advanced. Now she's in Finland in her studies of Erasmus. Yeah, or for example, I had Marina. She had problems with mostly organize the use of English because all the grammar aspects she knew them in theory, but she never learned the grammar from the point of view, from the English point of view, no, in which case to use what. She was learning it as in the way that, okay, in Spanish is this, and I have to, translate it like this. So that was the problem with use of English. Also got her first and advanced in 3 years, but she had like B1 plus. So what I want to tell you that the correct way of organizing your preparation is to have the level of English, obviously, so you have to see more or less that if you're preparing for first, so you have B1 at least to start studying. If you want to have advanced, so B2. Then important to have the plan of actions, the strategy for each part of exams. Then study grammar and vocabulary as auxiliary, and then have a lot of practice of the strategies that you have. So don't practice only doing the exercises. What you have to do is practicing the strategy, how to use it on examples of the exam. And basically, this is how I make the course, that how I prepare my students. And I'm going to tell you a little bit about it because I have, for people who are attending this masterclass or watching it in the record, the summer intensive for free, no? So intensivo de verano gratis. For people who are who want to go with us, preparation of first or advanced from September. And this course is all online. Yeah, so you have the video classes with the strategies for each part of exam. You have the strategy that you can follow, and then you can practice with the exercises. And also you have classes in directo, no, live, to ask your questions. And also you have speaking practices that are also online, so no need to go to the academy to take the bus or whatever. Yeah, you can always do it in your free time, and you can always adapt your speaking practice and when you watch the videos at home. So the people who register for the course get the Intensivo de Verano, depending if you're advanced, so it's refresh for advanced. If you are first, so refresh for first, during July and August. And the course is structured with the system of learning by doing. Yeah, it's the system that is now very popular in Asia and very popular in America, but still in Spain we are with theoretical knowledge. Yeah, so you learning by doing. How? You listen to the listenings, you get vocabulary from there that I give you, know. So you already know when and in which cases you can use it, then you use it in speaking. So it's all more organic than just study the list of vocabulary, yeah, and that's all. Also, this course is focused on developing the skills. Yeah, so we talk a lot, we have a lot of speaking practices, and we have a lot of exercises, but not exercises of put the correct tense, yeah, but exercises of exam that are where you can use the strategies that we give, well, that I give for each part of exam. And basically, I think that this course is great for those who want to study and work and prepare for exam at the same time. Yeah, so you can watch the videos whenever you want from your house. Yeah, if you think that this week is a little bit stressed for me, so I'm gonna see this class next week. Yeah, and the only thing that you have live is class one time per week and your speaking practice. So you can make it in your own rhythm. Also, this is for people who want to practice a lot of English and use new technology, because we have a very cool platform. Es una plataforma virtual súper chula con todos los vídeos, todos los ejercicios, y no necesitas ningún libro. But people who are amantes de clases teóricas, I think that are not welcome here, because all the theory that I give is focused on practice. So sorry. Yeah, this is how the platform looks like. You enter to your area de estudio, yeah, area de estudio, and there you see all the parts of exam. Yeah, we have writing, listening, vocabulary, use of English, guia burros, yeah, where you can find the strategy for each of them, and you choose. Each week you have classes in each of the units. For example, here we have one class that is in directo, no, live class once per week, where you can ask all the questions. I explain again some aspects that I explained in videos. Maybe they're not clear, so it's like refresh, yeah, of the material. And here we see the practicas de speaking, que son 1 hora o 2 horas semanales individuales, no? So it's you and your partner and me, as you can see on the picture. En nuestra plataforma entras, estás si quieres con vídeo, si quieres sin vídeo. Yo he notado que cuando tenemos clases por la mañana mucha gente está sin vídeo. And you can see the task of Cambridge exam. We practice it with the strategy, and also Here you always practice the vocabulary and the grammar that you saw that week. So like this, you put it into practice right away, and you don't have to, study it like by heart, aprender de memoria. All comes from practice. Here is the model of Guia Burros, where you have videos of strategies for each part. You see here use of English, reading, writing, listening. So there you have the strategy. You can always come back there, check if you're doing it right, and then go to practice with the exercises. For example, in the writing model, each week you have one type of writing. If it's essay, so you have the video where I explain the structure, and you have one topic. You have the list of vocabulary, expressions, typical grammar that you can use. You make your writing, you send it to me, I check it and give you the feedback. Here we have the grammar model, which is auxiliary. It's for people who want to practice more grammar. It's full of exercises. It also has videos where I explain main grammar material. Use of English, with different tasks of use of English, with explanation, with the list of phrasal verbs, which is the official one of Cambridge. Here we have listening and reading. Yeah, also you enter, you do the exercise, you listen, you read, and then you have the list of vocabulary that you might not understand. And also in there you have the option to ask the teacher if something is not clear. You write directly to me and I answer you why this answer or another was the correct one. Vocabulary model, obviously new vocabulary. I explain also with the video, and there are some exercises. So basically what you have in total in this course are 3 or 4 video classes in each, in total in different models per week. So you can enter and you can watch them in your free time from your house. And we have 1 hour per week classes in directo, 1 hora o más. A veces es más, si hay muchas preguntas o hay que explicar algo un poco difícil. 1 o 2 horas semanales de prácticas individuales de speaking en nuestra plataforma, que también luego puedes entrar tú solo con alguien del curso y practicar con todo el material, pero sin profesor. Y contacto directo con profesor en el chat, a preguntar, dudas, all this. And the closed group, we have the community, so you can share, your questions and so on there. Basically, if you compare the online course with the offline academy, is that you don't have the horario fijo, is the maximum flexibilidad. You have 4 hours per week or more if you want to practice the exercises. So for people who want to go faster and want to prepare the exam faster, they can do it because they can watch video and they don't depend on anyone. Also, normally in the academy, you have like 15 minutes of speaking in class, and here you have 1 hour of individual speaking practice with the teacher. And you can go in your own rhythm, in our platform, which is very cool. You can enter and you can see it. So we also have like very practical approach. We focus on practice. So we practice a lot of speaking. It's more individual, because I can see how you're going, which model you are, and what is the level. So if you think about the price, so in academy with individual speaking, it's gonna cost you a lot, the course. And we have 3 ways to participate in our course, 3 different options. It's Speaking Guru. It's where you have 2 hours of speaking, 2 horas semanales de prácticas de speaking. Total preparation, which I think is optimal, because here you have only 1 hour of speaking per week, but I think it's enough. And freshman, it's for people who want to go fast. They don't need speaking practices. They only need strategy and the video classes of grammar, practice, and so on, they can go in their own way. So the total preparation, all the course of 7 months is 600 euros. And the freshman is 400 euros, but you go without the teacher. So you can basically choose us, yeah, and you can pay month by month. And then if in December you see that, okay, I'm ready, yeah, you can go for the exam and finish the course earlier. You can always also write me, and I will give you more examples of exams to practice. And also we have the guarantee, if you don't like something and you want to go, we are not gonna, there is no compromiso. So if you want to go, you can go, and even if you paid all the year but you don't want to participate, we're gonna give you back the money, because I know that if there is no connection between the teacher and the student, nobody is gonna like it. So that's the deal. We have only, well, we have only now 30 left, 30 classes. Yeah, because I don't want to have a huge group. It's for 20 for advanced and 20 for first. So you know that even if you are working alone in your house, there is the group, and in classes and directo, they all are going to be there, and I don't want it to be a lot of people. So these are the options that you have. Again, with all the can you hear me? Because I think I disappeared for some time. Yeah, so anyway, these are the options, and the bonus, if you register now and you choose to be with us in September, so you can get the Intensivo de Verano durante julio y agosto. And like this, you can refresh your English, and you can be prepared for the course in September. Yeah. So if you have any questions, you can ask me now. Questions about preparation, maybe something is not clear yet about what I was talking about, writing or use of English part or whatever. So write me now in the chat, or if you have any questions about the course, I'm going to answer you. Yeah, I see that somebody is writing. Okay, so anyway, I like that your system is practical. Yeah, it's very practical, because I think that the most important part of your preparation is to use the strategies and practice, not only doing the exams, you know, the examples of exam, but follow the strategy and have the knowledge, have the paso a paso, guia burros, yeah, and then practice it, not only practicing as it is. So I'm sending you now the links. If you're choosing first or advanced, these are two options, and you can go there and reserve the seat for you, reserve the seat in the course. And also, if you have any questions, you can always write me in direct in Instagram. I always answer and follow for some more advice. And basically, you have these three options. You can continue preparing your Cambridge exam alone, yeah, but follow the advice that I gave you today, or you can go with us and try something new, try to do it online and with more structure, with more practical approach, and so on. Also, I think that I promised that I answered some questions. Somebody wrote me questions that I was supposed to answer at the end, but I don't remember. So if you are here, write the questions. Was something about speaking. I wrote it somewhere, but now I cannot find it. So if you don't have any questions, I think this is all. You have a lot of new information. I hope. Write me, please, if it was useful, the advice that I gave you, and if you're going to use it in your preparation or not. And I hope to see you in the course. Hope to see you in the Intensivo de Verano. And wish you luck with your exams and like a lot of points. Yeah, very useful. Thank you. Okay, thank you. It's nice to have the feedback. Okay, so this is all. Have a nice evening and see you on Instagram or in the course. Bye-bye.